Timberlane Budget Committee at 7:07 p.m. December 15th. Heather, will you call the roll, please?
Susan Auburn.
Here.
Peter Below. Catherine Gonzalvo.
Here.
Julie Hammond.
Here.
Katie Knudsen. Elizabeth Costa. Sheila Lowe's.
Here.
Sue Sherman. Brian Smith.
Here.
Karen White.
Here. Okay. You stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just received some correspondence that a resident of Atkinson asked that we share in the meeting, so I will read it aloud. And I haven't had a chance to really peruse it because I just saw it, I just got it, so. Dear members of the School Budget Committee, I'm writing to express my deep concern about the potential impact of further reductions to our school budget. While I understand the importance of fiscal responsibility, additional cuts at this point would cause significant and lasting harm to our students, educators, and broader community. Further budget reductions would also, or almost certainly, lead to larger class sizes, fewer instructional supports, and the elimination of critical academic and enrichment programs. Subjects such as art, music, world languages, often the first to be cut, are essential to student engagement, creativity, and career readiness. Cuts also directly affect student support services. Reductions in counseling, nursing, special education, and mental health resources limit our ability to meet students' academic, social, and emotional needs. These supports are not optional. They are vital to student safety, well-being, and long-term success. In addition, continued budget constraints contribute to staff burnout, difficulty retaining qualified educators, and diminished morale. High turnover and understaffing negatively affect instructional quality and disrupt continuity for students. Deferred maintenance and outdated technology are also real consequences of insufficient funding, leading to learning environments that are less safe, less effective, and less equitable. Short-term budget savings achieved through excessive cuts often result in long-term costs to our community. Strong schools are a cornerstone of strong communities and help keep home values high in those communities. I respectfully urge the committee to consider alternatives to further reductions and to prioritize maintaining the resources necessary for our schools to function effectively and safely. Our students deserve an education that prepares them not only to meet academic standards, but to thrive as productive, engaged members of society. Thank you for your time, consideration, and service to our community. Sincerely, Laura Mull, a Atkinson Academy parent. Next, delegates and individuals. Marianne, would you like to come up?
I think you all know me, Marianne Springer, Danville. Thank you for including the school board in your difficult budget discussion last week. I appreciate your consideration of the input from members of the board as you reviewed the significant impacts of budget reductions in various categories. You face the difficult challenge of trying to offer the taxpayers of the Timberlane district with a true budget choice. If the proposed and default budgets are nearly the same, taxpayers feel disenfranchised. I am optimistic that this year we are on a path to have different choices in which the impact of budget reductions has been clearly described upfront during the process. I believe that tonight you need to dive even deeper into specific budget areas to see where there might be additional areas for reduction. That may even mean returning to the categories or buckets that were considered last week. I don't envy you this task. I spent a great deal of time looking for areas that appeared to be significantly over budgeted, and I was really only able to identify small potential reductions scattered throughout the budget line detail. I wish you success tonight, bringing forward a budget that has further reductions, I am hopeful that by doing so, we can avoid the acrimonious claims and comments similar to last year's deliberative sessions if the voters actually have two distinct budgets on the warrant. The vast majority of taxpayers in this district want us to offer high-quality education to all at an affordable cost. Individual taxpayers can't all afford the same property tax burden, and there is an agreement on which aspects of education are the most important, but there is no reason for people to be disrespectful of each other's situations and perspectives. Overall, we have a high-quality, dedicated staff who do their very best for our students every day. I hope they can keep in mind that the current budget emphasis on reducing costs is a fiscal reality and not a commentary on their value and importance. Change is hard, and we need to work together during this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Springer?
Good evening. What do we have? 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes?
It's just us tonight.
Okay, so it shouldn't take that long, but thank you for seeing me again for the third time in about a month and a half. I've been trying to pay close attention, and I know you guys have a very difficult job, and yet at this point, BudCom's in charge. Only you. Lots of comments on social media, lots of comments from folks out there. They're going after school board, they're going after superintendent. Honestly, they're not really going after the BudCom, which is going to change a deliberative session if you guys can't deliver. A really serious choice. BudCom needs to deliver, a budget our taxpayers can afford. And based on my observation and attendance of the BudCom meetings proceeding so far, number one, all departments have presented their budget requests and BudCom accepted them for consideration pending presentations from admin and other parties. That's done. Number two, all presentations have now been made, and the result at this last meeting, straightforward. The only items that have been considered and discussed, to the best of my observation and knowledge, are suggestions the administration has put forward. And he's come to you 13 times, I think, if I remember the number from last meeting, during the course of this year. 13 times. That, bluntly speaking, I think that's extreme. I know you folks have a terribly difficult job. However, he's given, he's come enough times. Whether we disagree or agree, as a group as to what they're putting forward, it's time to make decisions now. The only items that have been considered and discussed are suggestions the administration has put forward, nothing alternate or additional from BudCom. The only items approved by BudCom vote at the last meeting are items that were deemed palatable by the school board when they attended last week. Therefore, the only items truly considered at this point are what the superintendent already put forward 6 weeks ago, no more than 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's all that's really been wrestled with yet. Taking what has already been approved by your vote, and the totality of the items highlighted in the proposed and default budget, there are substantial reductions that can be made and should be considered. I wish I wasn't saying that, but we have to produce something that's affordable. So I'm going to give the same thing to everybody. There's a suggestion at the bottom. I'll make sure you've got one too for your records. I might run out. Can you guys share?
Share. Thank you.
I thought I had one for everybody.
Thank you.
I do have one for everybody.
Thank you.
Here you are. Thanks. Thank you very much. Since we really can't speak during the meeting, that's why I chose to try to do it this way.
Thank you. time for the administrative report.
Anything new this evening that I did not previously present to the board on Thursday evening?
Do we have any reports of the committees? Katie is not available, although she is in the building. Yes, Sheila?
I'm assuming we don't have any minutes because of the short time frame.
Yes, they're not ready yet.
Thank you.
And that brings us to our continued business. The 2027 budget.
I did not read that last sentence. I left it up to the chair.
Oh, you'd like me to read it aloud?
I would suggest it for folks watching, essentially the area at the bottom that I underlined.
Well, I'm not going to make that motion right now, so, but,
Or some other member can make it when it's
Is he allowed
appropriate.
to continue to just talk?
excuse me?
Is he, I didn't know, is this an ongoing, are we allowed, they're
I
just
think
allowed?
this is
Oh,
this
okay.
is enough. Everybody
Make
has
sure
a
it's not
copy
back
of
and
it,
forth.
yes?
Yeah.
So everyone is free to do as they obviously wish. Like to,
I'll make the motion. I make a motion to propose a budget to the school board of $86,500,000 for 2027. I'm looking for a second for purposes of
A
discussion.
second
I'll second it.
for discussion.
okay, let's discuss.
All right, so I guess I'll start. Can we talk about CIP first?
Yes.
So we addressed the sprinklers on Thursday. I had made some other suggestions, and some of that was talked about. There was a discussion around moving the building envelope to the lease. I don't know, we didn't really talk any further about that. I don't know, Justin, if you have any comments around the feasibility of that.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I need to interrupt.
Yes, Sheila?
I'm getting people saying they can't hear on the TV. They can't hear.
Sound was on, but I'll.
Sorry, that was, they have no voice.
Thank you.
Dean, do you want us to keep moving or do you want us to wait for anything from you?
I keep moving because
Okay, very good.
can't really
Thank you.
diagnose if this.
Okay, so we were talking about the CIP, and yes, we removed the 650 from that line for the sprinklers. And we were wondering if we know if it's actually feasible to move the envelope to the lease. Do we know if that's something that's allowable by the agreement, the lease agreement?
I mean, I think there's an argument to be made that the envelope can be a least efficient project because there are some R values in
Insulating, sure.
the pieces that we talked about previously. To remind you again, like if you're looking at removing capital money, in the end, whatever the voted budget's gonna be, the school board's gonna have a chance to organize under
Sure.
that budget how they want
Sure.
to. So if you're asking me if it's feasible to move, I think that simple answer is yes, Brian.
Another thing to consider is whatever we take out of the list are projects that are not gonna be done as well, right? So we have to replace one for the other. Because the list already has the projects that are for the last phase, so if we take out some of those projects, then whatever it is, HVAC systems or whatever it is, then those are not gonna be done, so it's just a one for the other.
I think what you were talking about was how Jack mentioned the roof had the budget in there for the $750 for the pack, right?
Yeah.
The other question that I had was, so I think we had outlined 1.75 in total projects in the budget line. And there was some debate over this, right? Budget line is 1.892. And I think the debate was over whether traditionally we've left it at 1.892 or modified it to the projects aligned.
Do you remember the outcome of that?
I don't.
It has always stood at 1.892
Okay.
since its inception.
We have sound.
Volume's working.
Might I suggest,
Rather not. Let's just keep.
I'm just thinking of the audio being out a moment before, nobody knows what's being discussed.
No changes were made. Okay.
Yeah, and you have audio on your device, Dean, no problem?
Yeah, we have it recording locally and it's coming back on the feed, so if we have any more information on where the viewers having difficulty, that might be helpful.
Thank you.
Well, so I mean, if I were to say that I am in support of my original suggestion of setting the capital line at 600,000, is there any other support for that here?
And what would you put it? Does it matter what the jobs are?
Well, my suggestion was that it would be the Pollard vanities and then the 500 grand for the bathrooms or the envelope. And to Justin's point, I think that's school board's discretion to determine, how that works out.
In the past, have capital improvement funds been used for emergency services like replacing a septic system or things like that?
Yeah, that's the purpose why we leave a little bit of.
That's why, because if a leach field goes, we can't predict that.
Sure.
Right? That's why there's typically some extra money kind of put there aside. And all of that does get, if it doesn't get used, you know what happens.
Yep.
So I personally, I think reducing the CIP line to 600,000, did you say?
Yep.
Would be a little bit risky.
Sure.
We have a lot of facilities, a lot of land, a lot of property to maintain, and they're old.
Carrie,
Yes. Sorry, Julie.
on that amount though, I hear what you're saying, but that is somewhere that we could take out for trying to get this budget down.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one that's not going to affect people necessarily, right? Hopefully not our children, although if we have a facility or something that goes down, then obviously that's going to affect our children and the quality of their education. But
Right.
for sure, I mean, that was the first thing we talked about the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, reducing it all the way down to 600, I feel is personally a little bit intense.
Well, I mean,
That's just me.
no, I hear what you're saying. But I do see also the projects if the envelope can be included in the lease and make adjustments with the projects that are already set to be done, and the sprinklers are out, then we really don't need to have the whole 1.89 on that project list. So we could reduce it down for this year. What's the difference?
I was just gonna say, do you have a number in mind?
Just- Well, there was 100, so that's off of that, the list that was given, that's 1750 versus the 1.89, that's another that's $140,000 reduction.
And we've already sort of discussed taking the 650 off as well.
Right.
So if we
Right, so
Karen, just want a point of clarification for everybody. You have voted to remove 650,000, so that now is reflective in the new proposed budget number you have. Whatever conversations you're entering into tonight are above and beyond that.
Right.
right, so that would be a suggestion of reducing it by another 640,000. So you're gonna end up with that net 600,000.
Karen, I know you're in discussion phases right now, but I believe the motion was for
There
a
is.
total budget number. That was
Yeah.
second,
So I'm a little confused by that. With that, I don't think that brings us there, does it? I've got my calculator
No.
going.
That's
No.
642 too.
Yeah,
Can we even vote on CIP with the open motion?
I mean, that's just a point of discussion. We can, I don't, that would be a separate motion, right?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm asking.
The motion is
So-
to leave it at 600, right?
So we can talk about some other items. Last week was the hard part, right? It was the mostly personnel related discussions. There really hasn't been any discussion around the operating budget. I kind of went back through it based on the presentations that we had gotten. So I'll start another topic within this discussion on the technology budget. There's the new intercom system is in there for $120,000. It looks like there's also an annual subscription fee of $70,000. That could also be removed in the interest of reducing the budget further. Just putting it out there for discussion. When we're talking about needs versus wants, I'm not sure if that falls in the need or want. For me, that's more of a want.
I think if I may, the intercom systems Mr. Henderson felt were a security and safety thing. I can't recall because I don't have it in front of me, if the subscription fee was related specifically to the intercom system, or are you talking about other technology subscription fees?
When I was looking through the presentation, it specifically called out intercom subscription fee.
Got it.
So. Similarly, there was another technology-related item.
Could I just give a little
Yeah, go
some
for
input
it.
for discussion? The intercom system is absolutely a safety piece that we're moving toward. I believe it's also part of a upfront grant that we need to apply for. We receive it, we need to pay for the services and the equipment upfront that we're going to get, so we're also pursuing that as well. But it is enabling this campus right now that can't to be able to speak fluidly between departments, programs, and buildings. We have some holes in the intercom system as it stands now.
Well, I guess that's probably going to apply to the next one I was going to cover was the $25,000 for cameras. Similar vein, right? I don't know. Is that absolutely necessary this year? Could it wait a year? Throwing it out there for discussion.
Same thing as the intercom system. It's part of SAFE grants that we apply for as well for reimbursements.
Any further discussion on motion?
I mean, I could keep going, but
Yeah, this is why we're
That's
here.
the point of why we're here.
Get us on board here.
so I took a look at this is thanks to Maria for sending the spreadsheets to me. I was looking at all of the individual lines related to supplies, new equipment, replacement equipment. And if you, so what I noticed is that there's a lot of numbers in there that were previously cut for this year's budget. And they've basically all been reverted back to what they were in prior years, and then some. So for example, there's 85 lines in there. When compared to current fiscal year 26, it's almost a $300,000 increase. Now I know there are some things in there. Textbooks were deferred. Some textbook purchases were deferred this year. So this would be inclusive under the supplies line 610 of middle school field trips. I know we've had conversations around that.
Yeah, the two primary things, Brian, you'll see in there are the field trips that are put back there for a value system for us. And the other pieces, you'll see replacement of cyclical pieces that were removed before, whether they were equipment purchases or program purchases or textbook purchases.
So I guess, my point for bringing that up is, we never really discussed anything that was outlined in the presentations on these in detail. So we're sort of just accepting that nearly $300,000. Where I suppose if I was going to be a little more critical of it, I would have, started with this year's budget and talked about specific increases independently, right? Like could have talked about the textbooks, the field trips. Field trips were about 60,000. Graduation costs for the middle school. I know Sheila, you've mentioned the Hall of Fame thing.
I know Mr. Mentis spoke to the graduation when he was here. I don't know if you remember speaking to how it went last year without an audio system. And I think that's that cost you see back in there now is to purchase the middle school and audio system. So people attending could hear graduation.
Okay.
That was rent a system, right? Rent a system, right?
That's what
I think that's an important.
100% sure, but it's probably, yeah.
Brian, are you looking for clarification on like the textbook lines? Is that?
I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get that tonight, right? I probably don't have a specific number that you can tag just to those textbook purchases that were deferred this year.
I wouldn't, but we will work overtime to get it for you at the 11th hour if you need it.
Is it helpful to figure out what's the per pupil per year for that number, that the supplies, that how many students for the 300,000?
We have outlined all that information to you
I
guys
have that,
previously.
I have that, yeah.
Yeah,
Does it seem reasonable when it's broken down to that or no?
I don't have that sheet in front of me. I know I have it at home, so I'll take another look at it.
Yeah.
Karen?
Yes, Sheila,
I'm gonna ask you to call the question,
fair enough.
because at the end of the day, we can go through this and pull out 10,000 here, 30,000 here, 40,000 here, but the school board's gonna do what they want with their money. So
Very well then.
it's in their hands at
We
that
do
point.
have a motion and a second, so all in favor of, it was 86,500,000, correct?
Yep.
All in favor of, okay, Sheila. Changing the proposed budget to 86,500. 3, all opposed? Fails.
Anybody wanna throw out another number? We are currently at, keep losing that little piece of paper.
We are at
$89,176,966.
Thank you. Yay. My papers. Too many papers. Just figured out the default is at what number now?
The
90 and a half, right?
default's gonna be presented again to the school board this Thursday. There'll need to be some adjustments to it based upon the decisions of this body last Thursday.
Well, there'll be adjustments made just on the lease loan, right?
Right now, the major adjustment will be the lease payment, correct?
So does anybody else have a number? Okay, I'll make a motion to put the budget at 87 million even.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Okay, one question. All in favor? Opposed?
Anybody else?
I know that it sounds redundant to cut it like in the areas, but I feel like it's kind of our due diligence to do that, to cut it in the areas. And even if they move that money around, I feel like it's us doing our due diligence to go by these lines and say, whether it be textbooks and X amount of dollars, whether it be, that's just one example. So that we can put I know our decision doesn't matter in the end, right? But it matters right now.
It does matter. Making sort of arbitrary, just, yes, Julie?
I think what Sabrina is saying it has some merit, and I think on the page that Maria has given us on the fiscal year 2027 proposal for budget reductions, you can go right through that summarizes up all the individual sheets, and you can see what things we had already discussed and put in last time. And there's still item 15, which was the two tech specialists, and 16, the two, I think that was special ed facilitators. I just had a note to go back to that. So I don't know if that is more in line, Sabrina, with what you're saying. They can end up doing what they.
Right, we can say take
Yeah.
500,000 off, capital
Right.
improvement, right? And they might decide to do whatever they want, just like saying, we'd like to take the envelope and put it in the, instead of the pack roof, right? But in the end of the day, they're gonna move that money around to where they see fit. But I think tonight, choosing those items and reducing them however we reduce them, and I think that's our spot tonight. I think it's hard to say, does it come out to 87 million in the end? I have no idea. It might, but I think it's easier pill to swallow to kind of go down and, pick and choose and agree, disagree, but have that,
We do have a motion and a second still. Do we have further discussion on that, or did we vote on that?
No, we
voted.
voted.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's not.
Whew,
I was like,
thanks.
what did I miss?
Wait a minute, we didn't. Sorry.
I was like, did I motion something?
Julie?
These are such hard conversations. I think I'm with you, Sabrina. I think we have to be really strategic. If the board feels that, or the committee feels that we need to make further reductions, I think we should be thoughtful in that way and not just throw out flat numbers. I know it is a bottom line budget, but it's important to acknowledge what the cuts mean or could mean, I think. So, I mean, to me, we've gone through the buckets. We've talked about the technology that we're going to get 100% reimbursed for. It's an investment. We've talked about the CIP, bringing it down a little bit. Sure. Special ed facilitators. We have 22% of our kids are special ed. They're servicing a huge amount of people. And I mean, so if we're gonna remove, if you want to remove those things, I think it's really important, Justin put it pretty eloquently. It will sort of intrinsically change the way the district operates. So it's important to acknowledge that.
Karen, you got Julie over here.
Yes, Julie.
Karen, I'd like to make a motion to reduce the budget to 88,211,000.
Can I ask what the justification is?
If you're going off of the sheet, we're starting out here at 89,176,996. Removing the $500,000 from the CIP, 140 from CIP, 130 to tech specialists, 196 to special ed facilitators. You guys can mull it all around and figure it all out so that there really aren't any staff reductions, but we'll leave that up to you guys.
I'll second you.
Julie, can you repeat your amount?
88,211.
Thank you.
Further discussion? All in favor? 4? See, Sabrina, was that your hand?
Hold on, I'm doing some math.
Okay.
Sorry. Now, are we still going to go down this and then
No,
see, or we
no.
just?
I'm not sure how I got to that amount. I will have, I will need clarification to that.
In the middle here.
Yeah, so it's just under $1 million, is that what that?
Yeah, it's like about 900,000
And the
ish.
196.
What were your lines, Julie?
This is where we get.
Pardon? What were the lines you were going
To have
from?
motion.
Two CIP lines,
For 640 from CIP.
Oh, 640 from CIP.
yeah, 2 tech specialists and 2
Okay.
special ed coordinators.
Facilitators.
Facilitators.
She took another 5 from CIP.
Oh, so we gave the lines that we wanted them to come from? Is that what we're doing?
Well,
We did.
That's
Well,
not part of the motion.
we're just
You
keeping
want,
it
you
to-
wanted
we
to
don't-
have some detail and not just throw out arbitrary numbers.
Julie, if it helps the discussion, your number is accurate if you're talking about 640 from CIP and the 4 currently positions that are operating that you
Yeah.
identified.
The
Okay.
special ed facilitators.
All right, can we vote?
Yeah,
Then? Okay, all in favor? 4 in favor, opposed? 2. It passes. Any further discussion?
So that was 4 special ed facilitators and 630 off CIP.
640 off CIP.
Maria, you're gonna send this back out to us when it's all said and done?
Yeah.
That's not working. Well, no, that's what they did for them.
That wasn't a sure yeah to me.
Yes, I will.
Be-
I just.
Is the 10 para positions on the wrong line?
Yeah.
Or is it my eyeballs tonight?
I sent an updated one.
Okay,
I sent
all
it
right.
late on.
I'm looking at this
I
one.
thought it was
I'm
under the
looking-
light. I was
On
like.
Friday, I sent, well, the updated one should be.
I made an arrow, we're all good. I figured that one out. And then,
Yeah, I'm sorry. The
They're right
wrong
under
one
each
got,
other.
yeah.
Yeah.
The wrong one got in the package, but I did send an
It's
updated
fine.
one on Friday.
I just wasn't sure if it was my eyesight.
It's 88,111.
So you,
It has to be.
you guys are at now a new proposed. If you wanted to record the number that Maria has calculated for you to see where we are.
Well, it has to be 88,211 because that was the motion
That was the
passed.
motion specifically?
Yeah, not to cut anything in
88,211,000.
So what that does is it takes $1,250,000 from the capital line. And then the 2 tech specialists and the 2 sped facilitators lines, right?
Well, that's how she came up with her number, but we
Right,
didn't
but
go
we
through
don't
that's where
actually
it's coming
get
from.
to
Like,
make
if I
that
looked at that, there might be, I might have agreed, but from other lines possibly. Cause she just gave a number, right? Yeah.
Well, okay. So I need clarity because she specifically mentioned those 3
Right.
lines, so that's where I have it.
That's fine,
Okay.
but it's gonna but it,
Yeah.
you know,
that's not where I
but
would-
it's gonna go back to the school board. They're gonna
Yeah,
decide
that's not the
on the exact
ones that-
line
but
amounts.
Right, but this is the budget committee recommendation. Is that where the recommendation that I'm putting?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because they were asking where I was coming up, how I was coming up with that number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
Okay, so we're at 88,211,
Yes.
correct?
Any further discussion, thoughts, motions to be made?
So does this mean that we don't have a meeting next Monday, correct?
I don't think it would be necessary at this point if there's no further discussion here.
Do we have another meeting in,
We do have one scheduled for this Thursday,
no,
not this Thursday,
I think Monday's the
sorry.
last one
Next
before.
Monday was
Monday the
it?
22nd,
Yeah.
right, so.
Right, so that would be canceled.
Yes, we will not.
And now would we want
I
a
think that would be
meeting?
up to the chair and vice chair.
Yeah, I think we can discuss and since there are a couple members that are not here.
Maybe talk with Liz and maybe a meeting before the public hearing in case those CBAs. I mean, do we have to, no, but I'm not being facetious, I'm not.
I know, but just after
But
the
if we
day
have
I've
to
had
do
with those CBAs,
recommendations.
I'm laughing at that.
No, but if we have to do recommendations or anything, we don't have to do that prior to the public hearing, correct?
I think
After the public
At
hearing?
public hearing,
At the
after
public hearing,
public hearing.
Yeah,
where
we
you
usually
vote.
have a meeting after, don't we?
Yes.
And that's when we
To make the
recommend.
recommendations.
We'll make the recommendations.
Very, yeah. it's easy.
Okay, so we don't need that meeting in early
Yeah,
January.
I'll
That's
discuss with Liz and we'll send an email out and
And we'll get an updated one of these sometime
Yes.
tomorrow, next day.
Karen, I think
Next
Justin had something.
So
yes,
Okay.
Justin?
There are still 3 position requests that we had brought forward to the committee that have not yet been determined.
That's right.
If we could visit those tonight and make
Let's
some
do it.
determinations on each of those 3, that would help the process move forward. I'm happy to review them for you
Thank
again
you.
if you
That would
need
be
me to.
great.
Yeah.
The first is for the special education facilitator positions. There were 5. We'll see what happens with the voted budget and where that goes. But what we're looking to do is add workdays to these individuals, both at the outset and conclusion of the school year. They help with compliance, which also helps reimbursement and revenue come back from the district. These are the #1 people in the schools, building relationships with the special education families and coordinating all related services in the building. That'd be a tremendous help for them. If you're looking for the total cost, because I'm not so sure that you still have your sheets with you or in front of you.
One of them had and the other one didn't. I have it, I think. Right here.
You got it?
26,232.69.
Great, and again, that would be spread between 5 positions and equate to another 50 days of work.
See, this is where it gets funky because we just took out 2.
Well, we
Well,
took out
as
a
you
set
s-
amount, because when
as-
she just said the amount, and we just said, looking at the rest of the things from 14 on, in my head, came to a reasonable amount, but not necessarily, special ed facilitators wouldn't have been where I was cutting it. You know what I mean? So we didn't necessarily cut those positions.
That's kind of where
That's
that's why
right, so
I asked, because I was
That's
like,
not, yeah. It was a palatable amount, but not necessarily those same spots.
Well, and again, the board cuts positions.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
so I would highly recommend voting for this because we don't know where the budget's gonna go, and these facilitators have been intricate in improving our special ed and the stuff with the families.
And if they do cut them, then the ones that are left probably are going to need
Then
those
it'd be
extra
an
days for
adjustment.
sure
Correct.
to cover.
Right, and then that number would be adjusted to the number facilitators there are.
But then we're adding that 262 back into the budget, right?
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's what
The
the
I
imperative
thought
to
it was
make
26,282.
It's 20, no, she's talking about the two facilitators.
Well,
I think you need to look at them as two very separate things.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Let's just vote on
What
it.
you really did last time is you removed funding from
Yeah.
personnel. This is asking to add funding to personnel, and then it'll be the school board's discretion about how they're distributing that funding to personnel.
All right, I'll make a motion to. How do I wanna say this? Request for additional days in pay for 5 TTA sped facilitators. The amount would be 26,232.69. Did I cover everything?
I'll
Yes.
second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? That's everybody.
Next one. I can go right through them.
Yeah, so you go.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Justin, you want me to go right through them?
Next one, you got the senior technology
Yeah.
specialist. Good one to talk about too.
Make a motion to accept a request for a senior technology specialist. And I believe she is 260 days per year. They're asking for a total salary increase of 21,847.49.
And it would align with the senior technology specialist. Thank you, Shalia.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? 5. Opposed? 1.
And the last one is for a singular position that's also residing in special education. It's for our out-of-district coordinator. The history of this position, it used to be 2 half-times. We repurposed those 2 half into a full-time position. This is an individual who oversees more than 50 students who are identified as Timberlane students, but either placed out of district or in a out-of-district school from parent choice at a charter school. We are looking to add 30 days to this work calendar. We were able to do that with this position last year through grant funding. A super majority of this person's caseload also attends extended school year over the summertime, which is those 20 to 30 days of required service. On having somebody as the key point for those kids and families, we found crucial. So we brought the request for you to add $17,038.59. And again, this would be in exchange for additional days of work through the year, bringing the total days of work to 217.
Make a motion. Exactly what you just said, Justin, how's that? Well, you got it all out there, so.
So a motion to accept the extension of the out-of-district coordinator.
From 187 days to 217 days and increase the salary by $17,038.59.
One second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie. All in favor? That's 5. All opposed? That's 1.
There's one other
And that was
business.
it. Awesome. Unless we have any further things? Yes, Mr. Sapia.
Painful.
Oh, you sir.
Papa
Just
Cynthia.
a point of clarification, just one thing to consider, I'm not here to advocate for or against the CIP item. Once that last phase, you said the board can do whatever they want with those items. Once that lease is signed, and those decisions been made, the board no longer has any discretion. Am I right in saying that, Justin, that last phase? Thank you. Very rarely do anyone ever say I'm right. The other thing is, when we defer maintenance, or should I say larger construction projects. If you go on the Turner Construction website, they have a great construction price index. And you can see it's like 4 or 5% a quarter. So in some years, the cost of construction has gone up 30%. Now it's flattening out a little bit, but occasionally when we defer things, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. But I just wanted to be clear on the lease that the board wouldn't have any discretion on it. And the reason why I offered that solution was the budget would be reduced by $500,000. The lease would be reduced by $250,000. We would not be doing the pack roof at the time, right? So that was kind of the theory of what I had presented. So anyways, just the board won't have any discretion. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Unless we have anything further, I'd like to adjourn this meeting at 7:58.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year.
Thank you, same.
Crazy, it's next week.